Good evening, everyone, and a warm virtual welcome to this edition of the Trends Watch Co Connect. I'm your host, Zena Abdulrahim, and I am curious to have everyone join us today. In today's episode, we'll be discussing dispelling medical myths for a healthier tomorrow. On today's show, we are excited to host an esteemed medical and health professional, Dr. Hamid Adebiran, whose expertise shined a light on the truths and falsehoods that shape our understanding of healthcare. Dr. Hamid Adebiran, MBBS, FRSPH, MISINC, is a medical doctor, management consultant, and media practitioner. He goes by a popular name called Medicasta. After his Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of Ibadan, he acquired additional education at the Johns Hopkins University, University of Washington, both in the US as well as in the University of Cumbria in the UK. He is a fellow of both the Royal Society for Public Health in the UK and the Institute Management Consultant. Medicasta, as he is fondly called, has interest in public health and medical entrepreneurship, amongst others. He has many years of experience spanning government and non-governmental, as well as profit and non-profit sectors. He has provided technical support on health policy, advocacy, capacity building, and health systems threatening at subnational, national, and global levels. He is a proud recipient of the 120 Under 40 Award, a global recognition for young people in the public health space, especially reproductive health. He is also a Bayer Scholar at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Hamid provides strategic advisory and technical support to local and international business entities in Nigeria, medical and non-medical. His field experience inspired him to initiate Rolling Stones Consultancy, where he is a managing partner and chief executive officer. Dr. Hamid, welcome to Trends Watch Connect.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
In today's modern society, health information is abundant, but so are myths that sway people's decisions. Sadly, believing in these myths can sometimes worsen health outcomes. It's crucial for individuals to untangle the web of misinformation surrounding health and wellness to pave the way for a better, more optimal lifestyle. Together with our guests, we will delve into the depths of common misconceptions, debunk myths with evidence-based insights to empower you on your journey to optimal well-being. From separating fact from fiction to exploring the latest medical breakthroughs, join us as we pave the way towards a healthier tomorrow. So, Dr. Ahmed, without further ado, let us embark on this journey together. My first question to you is, please share with us some background information on our topic, dispelling medical myths for a healthier.
All right, thank you very much. And kudos to the organizers and the entire Trends Watch Connect team for considering it a need or a gap to be filled, talking about dispelling medical myths. And where there is information, there is a possibility of myths. And because it's particularly peculiar to us in Nigeria, and I must say Africa, because we're largely communal. So what one person knows can as well be assumed to have gone to 10 people, because that one person is going to tell the family, going to tell friends, going to tell colleagues, going to tell co-workers. Everyone is a broadcaster.
Yes.
And of course, that's been worsened by the advent of social media. So yes, there are lots of myths out there that's spreading like wildfire. And I'm glad that we're making efforts or taking steps towards reducing them, if not totally abolishing them.
Yes. Thank you. Well, I would ask you, what are some common myths that you encounter in your practice? I think we should start with that, and then I can ask the one that I know that is very common.
There are quite a lot of them, and at the risk of amplifying these myths, which is also a downside of, having this kind of discussion, so that nobody starts thinking, "Oh, maybe it's true. Oh, I've never even heard about that." I'll just give a few examples that I have also shared, maybe
Yeah,
sometimes on my platforms or done videos about them, and maybe just to so for instance, I'm sure some of us have heard about the fact that if you sleep in cold, fan, ACs, it could cause
yeah.
pneumonia.
Yes, yes, yes. I have.
And there is nothing that medically proves that that is possible.
How about for
Because
sickle cell patients?
pneumonia is caused by bacteria.
Okay.
So what it means is that the first thing is that you'll be exposed to that bacteria. Okay, remove that. There are vaccines against pneumonia today. So are you saying that even if the person is vaccinated against pneumonia, he sleeps in the AC, it's gonna have pneumonia? What people it also stems from the fact that in Nigeria, or I've seen people just slam diagnosis on themselves anyhow. Oh,
Yeah.
you have ulcer. Oh, you have malaria. Oh, the way I'm looking at you, you have pneumonia. Oh, as I'm looking at you, what you have is typhoid. So what a lot of people call pneumonia is probably just cold,
Cold.
flu. In some cases, yes, you can have upper respiratory tract infection. If you have this upper respiratory tract infection or even flu, and you sleep in cold, the cold air that you breathe in can
Yeah.
irritate your airways and make you tend to react and sneeze a lot more and feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's like the closest link that we can establish to this. But saying that if you do
The
this, you will
AC
do this,
or
it's
the
like
fan.
cause and effect. You're saying that
Yeah.
anybody that sleeps under the AC, then everybody in the world should have been battling with pneumonia.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur, or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trends Watch Weekly magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/ to be part of the next big thing.
Yes, I have some myths that I feel I'm going to make it like rapid fire. Just debunk yes or no.
Okay,
Are we
cool.
good?
Let's go.
Okay. First, for women, is it true that consuming sugar prior to menstrual cycle affect how deep your cramps will come or how heavy your flow will be?
Not necessarily.
Explain on this. Not necessarily feels like a gray.
I feel like saying no, but then okay, so fun fact, in medicine, we rarely speak in absolutism. And I don't know if we'll get there today, but sometimes that's one of the ways you can identify medical myths or rumors. It's rare for someone to just come out and say no, yes, no, yes, because there would still be, even if statistically 99% of people would have this, you have to, you owe people that obligation of respecting the 1% by not absolutely generalizing and say, oh no, it cannot possible. So
Ideally,
yes, yeah, so I mean, we can draw a long map that would link sugar with the intensity of cramps. Not that they would have, it will cause them to have cramps. It might affect the intensity of the cramps. That's talking about prostaglandins and all those other, grammars that I don't want to go into now.
Yeah.
But it will not, it's not the reason you have a cramp, and it's not the reason you're going to have a heavy flow. No.
Okay. Okay. Second one, Mama, does it have any um what would I call nutrients that it gives the body? Yes or no?
At best, pomo has fibers. That's all. Yeah,
Okay,
at best, fibers.
okay, okay.
Which
Third,
sometimes too, by the time they even born and the whole processing,
yeah,
that in itself is useless. So yeah.
okay. So another myth, slimming tea, does it work or not?
You're about to shatter a table. Slimming
That's why
teas. So generally, teas they are rich in antioxidants. Antioxidants have a potential to manage fats. They are not the reason you are going to slim down.
okay.
I'm trying to look for the best example I can give. It's like it's not coming. But the impact is quite minimal. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. So
Yeah.
yes, if you have, for instance, if you have high cholesterol in your blood and you take a lot of tea, it could help you reduce and all of that. But
Yeah.
you're not going to be obese and hope that if you take slimming tea morning, afternoon, evening, one day you just wake up and you'll be done. Because what is responsible for the body size is a lot of
Yeah.
factors. I like to describe it as a scale. It's a function of input and output. You eat a lot, you don't use a lot, so there's a lot of intake, there is less of usage. You're going to be on the large side because the excess energy, so to say, will be stored as fat, and it's just a simple thing. So
Okay.
no, they are not cures for fat. They don't burn fat, they don't make you slim. And no, I don't know what they call slimming tea is, but almost every tea has that property. So calling one slimming tea sounds suspicious, like a scam.
That when I buy what I think is slimming tea, that using toilet for like 3 days. It's not my
Sorry,
fat that
I
is
lost you for a while.
so what you're saying is when I buy what I constantly eat and I use the toilet for like 3 days, it's not my fat that is being melted away.
Sorry for the laugh. So when you go to the toilet, what you are getting rid of are the remnants of digested food. What you have as fat has passed through your guts and has been absorbed into your system, and that is what is stored as fat. So
Okay.
what you
So
are best getting rid
yeah,
of are remnants of the food that you had eaten in recent time that are still within the pathway of the uh, gastrointestinal tract of the
yeah,
digestive system, so to say,
yeah.
and then you're getting rid of them. That's the
Okay.
at best, yeah.
Okay. So digressing a bit from food,
Okay.
we live in a society where women are often victimized
Good.
when it comes to childbirth and gender. So, would you say the woman has the power to decide what gender she wants to give birth?
Okay.
Is it?
I'm confused. Women are often victimized when it comes to childbirth.
Yes, like if I don't give birth in time, everyone
Okay.
assumes I have a problem,
Oh,
you
I
know.
get it now. Okay.
And if
Fertility.
I yes, and if I do, say I have like 4 girls and want a guy, everyone assumes I'm the problem. So is it for the woman to decide the gender of the child or the man? What does medicine say about that?
Why does this sound like a bait question? But it's okay. So let me start with the gender. So the gender of a child let me respond just the way you asked me so that we won't drag this long. Is largely determined by the contribution of the man. Does that make you happy? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a function of which of the chromosomes, the X or the Y, that's the man donates. So if it's the Y chromosome, the child is a man, is a boy. If it's the X, then it becomes an XX, and then so that I think that settles that, right? By the way, it's a game of chances. So no, it doesn't mean that we will now switch the aluta and start accusing men for always dropping the X chromosomes and start asking, are you sure you even have any Y component at all?
You should try that.
Okay, so no, that's not the essence. Now, when it comes to fertility, essentially, we group the causes of infertility into 4.
Okay.
We say that in 30% of cases, statistically now, and from research, 30% of cases, the issue is with the woman. That is, it's a female-related issue. In 30% of cases, the issue is the man. So we call it male fertility. The first one is female fertility. Then in another 30%, the problem is shared. The problem is shared, not necessarily that they both have a problem, but maybe I've had couples who have wrong timings. They think they are timing it well, but they're timing it wrongly. And then in the remaining 10%, right? That should be leave you with 10, right?
Yeah.
It's unexplained. We've checked the man, we've checked the woman, we've looked at all the parameters, but then they just are not able to give birth. So we leave that 10% to unexplained causes. So yes, there is nobody that should be arrested or crucified for not being able to bring forth a child by themselves and of themselves, because a lot of times it's shared.
Okay. My next question is: are there any recent medical advances that challenge long-standing beliefs or myths?
Long-standing what?
Beliefs or myths.
Okay, so yes, there were a lot of efforts towards this, and they're basically around behavioral change communication. We have a lot of projects around social listening. So especially in the days of technology, AI, social media. So we have some platforms that have been created to pick up rumors and myths when they are dropped, and the correct information is, added. And I'm happy that even a lot of the social media platforms now have that mechanism where they provide counter information when there are misinformation there. Sorry. Now, but beyond that, I think it's largely a human communication issue. Because, I don't know how you want to tell my mother that I don't have to use hot water or hot stone or lantern to hit the navel of my child for that navel to be completely healed.
You don't have to.
It's actually criminal, and I think that's the next level we'll do. We'll probably just make a law so that when I arrest you, you face the law. You do not.
Like
you
practice
do not.
has been.
You do not.
Okay.
So I don't know. The best that can happen is that during antenatal care, you have that conversation. Now, some of us get really personal when it comes to myths, because you would observe that sometimes not even education avails you. And I'm saying this because we've had a number of our health colleagues who would carry on these myths because they're so ingrained in our culture, in our religion, that so it becomes a bit, I mean, an extra effort because you are here as a doctor telling people this is how to do things or how not to do things. And they'll tell you that, but I heard another health professional, I don't want to mention category now, so it doesn't look too personal. But I mean, someone told me my grandmother is this, my mother is this. I know someone who said, I'm not going to do family planning because my mother is a health professional who is supposed to be a family planning practitioner and advocate. Tell me that don't do any family planning now because if you do, you may find it difficult to get pregnant when you're ready. And I'm like, where is that coming from? So it makes it a bit difficult because now this person shares biological relationship and now believes in the professional expertise of this person who is spreading myths and rumors. So yeah, a lot needs to be done in this regard, and a lot is going on.
My next question is, what are some red flags people should look out for when evaluating health information?
Thank you very much. I love this question. Now let's start. Let's start with this. First of all, where do you source your information from?
WebMD.
So, I mean, maybe that won't be a problem, but so if all you do is sit on your social media platforms and just try to listen to things people share, and you're always looking on gossip sites because all you do is look out for gossip. So you're going to get gossip information even if it has to do with health. So be circumspect about the source of your information. Second is verify, verify, and verify. If you have a health service package, which everyone should do anyway, it's within your rights to go to your hospital and say, doctor, I am not here because I have a fever or a headache. I just want to seek clarification on all these issues. And you start. It's very much within your rights. You are not limited to going to the hospital just because you have a health complaint. Some of us also have access to the internet that we don't use, and it's painful. Because if you type certain information on the internet, you're likely to see what is true, and you're likely to see what is not true, being positioned as not true. So most of this information are available in simple English that you can just read. So why not do that? Now, the next is that sometimes we hear people spread information that are time sensitive. So something had happened and information had been passed during COVID. They said nobody should go out from tomorrow because of COVID. Someone would now just wake up one day and start spreading broadcast messages that nobody should go out. And nobody would ask that, the minister that was said to have announced this is no longer the Minister of Health. So sometimes even this information are time-stamped. They will put a link. You'll see some myths, they'll put a link. A link will be there that if you click, you'll see the timestamp on that link, maybe on the website or the blog sites or whatever. But nobody will check that. They will just say, I even saw the websites and newspaper I got be. Then as a mitigating effect, why do you feel obliged to share myths? Especially one that you haven't verified. So the rule is this: verify before you share. But I don't know how. I'm still trying to understand. Let me use the lay-term word, the psychology of people wanting to be the one to break news or share information, share to help others. Somebody on your timeline might need this. sometimes we have these social media influencers. I call them influencers because they're like microorganisms that are just spreading like, so they're not actually influencers. They just want to test their popularity and they will drop something like that. And they sometimes they use it to track their metrics and say, see, this is how far my reach is. So why do you feel obliged to share it? Especially when it's not like you've actually verified it or you have any evidence to support the claim. So I mean, for me, if it gets to you, you can stop it by not sharing it to the next person. But no, everybody wants to be the one to spread or break the news and say what it is so that they say, oh, you have access to hot gist.
Okay. My next question is, how do cultural or societal beliefs influence the prevalence of medicine? I feel like you touched on it while you were talking earlier, but
So this sounds like how do people get their names? That's the way it sounds to me. Yes, so social culture, because we're a highly cultural sensitive people.
yeah,
It plays a huge role in everything in most things that we do. And like I said, sometimes not even education can avail you.
sure.
So you even go to certain health facilities and you see some of these wrong practices going on because it's just been passed on from generations to generation. And again, like I mean, to answer your question again, in our culture, we rely a lot on age. So the likelihood that if you hear something from your mother, you will believe and respect it is high because I'm your mother. I
She's been
cannot lie for you. I mean, do you know what I've seen? Do you know how many you people will not just listen? That's what I did for you. And I'm telling you to do it for your child. You are telling me no because you have gone and spent how many years in medical school. Meanwhile, do you know how many children I've nurtured? So it makes it a bit difficult. In the same vein, it also makes it difficult for the younger one who know better and have better access to information to look up to the older ones and say, that what you said. I mean, you don't tell in Africa, you don't tell an older person is a lie. I mean, they are liars. So what I do sometimes is that when I see such an information pass to me, sometimes I just move. I'll just not acknowledge it. I won't say thank you. I won't say it's a lie. I'll just move because I don't have energy for Omoyebaje. So that's how much culture can affect our belief or spreading of medical needs.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trends Watch Weekly magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/ to be part of the next big thing.
Okay. So how what do we then do? Like apart from not how do I say this? Apart from not engaging in those things, how do we will I say correct the notion? You know, like you said, we obviously can't tell the elders, shut up, that's not true. I know better than you. Well, how do we make sure that stops there and then in our own life and it doesn't continue out of we want to respect our elders?
So
I
again,
asked this because so recently one of my friends gave birth, and I remember one of the issues she had was her mother-in-law coming over and wanting to bathe her child with herbs, and she was like, she doesn't want it because she's been to Atlanta, she's taken to a doctor and all of this, but of course she was afraid to stand up and gets the mother-in-law to say no. So in such instance, what would you say we should do?
Okay, so what I'm about to say, I'm not saying it as a doctor,
Okay.
maybe as a social medical practitioner, because that falls largely in the realm of sociology than medicine.
Yeah.
When I hear all these someone and mother-in-law conversations,
Yeah.
I don't understand. I can't relate, because how on earth does somebody have a son alive in your house, and then you are the one who has to stop her
Yeah.
from doing something for a child that you both share? Uncle, tell your mother that we are not bathing our child inside herbs. Shikena.
Agbo.
He knows how to, he's been living with the mother, he's been with the mother for many years, and knows exactly what language to say,
Yeah.
to speak, or who to call. Okay,
Yeah.
Mama, can you go for you? I'm going to call this person to talk to you if you wouldn't listen to me. And to a large extent, that should be minimized. So I mean, the young woman doesn't have to face the mother-in-law. You can just keep smiling while they are playing their theatrics, whereas you know that you have told Oga in the other room that, see, you're gonna have to
Talk
know
to
how
your
to tell your mom that. Yeah. So for me, that settles that, because it now brings me to answering the other part of your question. Let's talk. If you see something wrong, speak out. Tell them. But this is not right. What this means is that you also need to arm yourself with information. So you need to know what to say. It's not as simple as saying, you say, I say. It is good, it is not good. No. It is not good because these herbs contain some microorganisms that can eventually be harmful to this child. Besides, you do not know what amount of anions or cations or metals are in these herbs that you are allowing to come in contact with the child, and so on and so forth. The consequence of this is this. Because, to be honest with you, when they say those kind of things, I laugh, because when my grandmother is talking about how many children, how many times she had delivered a child, and they talk about childhood mortality like it's nothing. Like, the gap between this person and this person is a lot. It's not like I did not give birth to. I gave birth to 3, but they were all, you don't know why they were dying, and they never probed. They're not bothered. So it could be the effects of some of these, their actions or inactions that they're not aware of. Besides, do you also know why some people grow old being bright and others, they just don't? You don't know whether it's something that happened in pregnancy. You see children with some complications that eventually catches up with them later in life, and nobody is willing to relate it to what had happened when the mother was pregnant, when they were a child. And I mean, sometimes when you tell people about infertility and you trace it down to when the man was young and some of the things that had happened, and they're just looking at you, and you're like, I mean, you were playing football, you got hits, the ball hits you on your balls and you're not aware, or you just went home, you lie down, you take whatever drug, and you think you're fine. And then 20 years down the line, you're unable to father a child because of the effect. So we make it look like, oh, things happen naturally or it just happened. But if we keep speaking up, I mean, well, we have to also be mindful of our culture and be respectful. Now, there is a last part I want to mention. We talk about these old people like they're actually the problems of our society. Do you actually know how much problem we have with the younger generations? I mean, it's not all rosy with them. You go on the internet now, you see all sorts. You see trends. People just say things because they want to gather likes or for clicks. And how are you different from my grandmother who just wants to send broadcast messages because they're trying to? Maybe for me, it doesn't make a difference. And so if I see something that is wrong, and without the fear of being dragged, I'm able to say, no, this is not right. I think I'm doing a lot. I mean, the other day I was talking about it on Twitter, even as a doctor. Sometimes I come on Twitter and I see some takes and I'm like, no, this doesn't make any sense. This has absolutely no evidence. But because I'm even afraid of being dragged and finding my name on gossip blogs and, or somebody insulting my generation, somebody that doesn't know me at all, will just insult my generation and say that see his nose like that of a speedboat. And I'll be like, just because I'm trying to tell you, okay, sorry, enjoy. But I mean, maybe one-on-one, maybe we can, if we have more people, if I say this and someone else also amplifies it, you like, you retweet, you share it on other platforms, maybe we can change the tide and begin to shut those people up as well. Those rumor mongers and those that are busy peddling myths, so that because it's sensational and it's more trendy.
Okay, my final question for you tonight. Um, how can we encourage evidence-based thinking in healthcare and combat pseudoscience?
The first is, which one do we like as people? Evidence or pseudoscience?
I think people choose based on circumstance.
People love pseudoscience once it's garnished and it resonates with what they want to hear, or it just sounds trendy. So
That's true.
we as individuals, media practitioners, organizations like TrendsWatch Connect can help us by amplifying things like this. Personally, I have a number of initiatives that is working on this, and I hope with time we're able to bridge the gap between the scientific world and the streets. We talk about town and gown, but there's a lot that needs to be done. So people do research and they publish for fellow researchers to read. Excuse me, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. So you do a beautiful work and you get results, but the only way I can access it is if I'm on Google Scholar or any other similar platforms. What happens to dropping it outside and put it to those people that need to hear? So for me, I'll look at it from the demand and supply end. And then as individuals too, I think we need to start asking ourselves the question of, what do we want? Do we want the facts, or we want what is nice to hear? Like I said, if you wake up tomorrow now and say that, what was one of the myths that you mentioned?
Sugar.
You dropped one of the myths. And I come as a doctor with Dr. written bagada on my profile. Because you have 50,000, 500,000, 5 million followers, and I have 500 followers, you're going to draw me. More people would like you. More people will believe you just because you're an influencer. Sorry, you're not an influencer, you're an influencer. But unlike this person that is actually true. So I find it ridiculous. Some people would even be arguing. A lawyer would state a position. Somebody would say, but actually, we all know that we're in Nigeria. Like, how? Do you mean that this person has wasted years learning and knowing what the fact is, that you just think your own opinion overrides? So let's start changing the narrative as well as individuals. Let's start correcting these things when we see them, so that with time it becomes infamous, unpopular to live on trends and abandon or sacrifice facts or science on the altar of trends or clicks and likes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamid. This has been enlightening and educative, and I'm sure our listeners have 2 lessons that they picked from this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to give us a 5-star rating on our platforms, and remember to share with your friends and family. You can also visit our website on www.trendswatch.co for more information. Join us again on Saturday, the 11th of May 2024 for our next episode of Trends Watch Connect. This episode is produced by Musa Muhammad. Research was done by Azomta Chiku. Our executive producer is Sana Kunduri, and I'm your host, Zainab Yusuf Abdurrahim for Trendsword.com. Thank you, everyone, and thank you.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trendswatch Weekly magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/ to be part of the next big thing.